Happy Hour at the Cardinals continues at Minsky's Pizza in Liberty, and we have a chance now to chat with one of the finest track and field athletes at William Jewell College. Gretchen Mays is our guest, a senior from Lathrop, Missouri, and I guess the news of the weekend at the Darrell Gorley meet, you rebroke the 100-meter record, and I want to make sure I get this right, 12.06.
Yeah, my fastest time ever.
Yeah, congratulations.
So. Thank you, thank you.
Well, you were telling me, and this is part of the story we want to get into, that you're getting married. Your fiance is here, by the way.
Yeah.
And but you're getting married, and the marriage is in May, the same
Yes.
weekend the national track meet is.
Yeah.
Well, what if you happen to qualify?
I will make it to both. Story of my life. I love to plan things, all around each other, and then they just all happen to happen at the same time, and it all works out.
Well, your life is so busy, Gretchen, that I imagine there has to be overlap, all these projects and things you've got going on. But for people that don't know, as a graduating senior, you're obviously busy finishing up your classes.
Yep.
You've already obtained employment and a good job at that, and we're going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. But you and your fiance getting married have also been rehabbing this house and doing all this, and you told me you're about ready to get it inspected and cleared, and I can't remember how you termed it, but
I'm learning all about home ownership.
Tell us all about that.
Yeah, so we started this process about 3.5 years ago now. That we originally bought it for the land, and there just happened to be a 105-year-old house on the land, and we were like looking at it, and we're like, oh, this is so cool. We see it all the time on TV, and we're like, oh, this will be super easy, right? Yeah, no, it just it gets worse before it gets better.
Absolutely.
You start tearing stuff down, and there's just everything all over the floor, and you can't even walk, and I'm like, I can't see the end in sight. And then they start to redo things, and we start to take out the electrical and put safer things back in, and now we're finally putting our last coats of paint on. We've got all the flooring done. I can finally see the end of the tunnel.
But if I remember the story right, you were swinging the sledgehammers to knock out walls, and the two of you, along with your families, have been doing all this work. And how long have you been doing it?
3 years now is how long we've been working on the project. But yeah, I always remember Tom, our track coach from last year, would always be like, all right, this week don't be working and throwing sledgehammers. And I spent all summer my sophomore year just tearing out walls, and because it was all just like blown in insulation, and it was the nastiest things I've ever done. But I learned a lot, and it made me stronger, I guess.
Well, I guess it would. Gretchen, whereabouts generally is it?
It's right outside of Liberty, kind of just north of Missouri City, right off 210.
Okay. So. Gretchen Mays is with us, the outstanding track and field athlete, and we said you set the new mark for the 100 meters. And we'll get to the track stuff here in a moment, but tell us about your job, because one of the neat outcomes of Jewell is this happens a lot. Students get their jobs before they graduate, and you're going to be working for the Missouri Dairy Council?
Dairy Farmers of America.
Dairy Farmers of America, thank you.
Yes, so I interned there this summer, and I actually got the internship through this really cool career mentor program at Jewell, and they set you up as someone in your field that is very similar to you and kind of what the career path you wanted. So I ended up working with them this summer, and I absolutely loved what I did. I loved the people I worked with. I loved what I was doing. So then at the end of my internship, I interviewed again, and then I was offered a full-time job. But my job's a little bit different than some other jobs because it's a rotational accounting analyst.
Okay.
So Dairy Farmers of America is a really large company. What they do is they buy milk from farmers, and then they sell it out to different companies like Starbucks, Yoplait, Land O'Lakes. So they're kind of like that middleman that helps gives good prices to farmers for their milk. So what I'll do is I'll start out in their products division as an accountant, and then I'll move to their fluid milk, which is actually the buying from the farmers. Then I'll move to their corporate division, and then finally I'll end up in their auditing division. So I'll actually get to experience the company as a whole, which is really neat.
May 13th is graduation, right?
Yes.
And 15 days later you're getting married?
Yeah.
What are you going to do in those 15 days? Just lay around and eat bonbons? Or?
Yeah, probably. I have 2 younger siblings at home, so I think spending some time with them, hanging out, just really spending time with family, I think.
Well, you mentioned to me off the air that even though the Nationals same weekend you're getting married, you don't think you're going to qualify. And so I think it's good to bring up your history here because despite your pessimism, I'm I'm amazed you feel that way, and I want to talk to you about that. But here are a few of the things I dug up today. Some of the records you hold for Jewell Track and Field. Mm-hmm. The record in the indoor 55-meter dash, the indoor 60 dash, the indoor long jump, the outdoor 100-meter dash, which you just broke again on Saturday, the 200-meter dash, the long jump outdoors, and you also are part of the relay team that won the 4x100 and the 4x400 or set the record in those events. That's a bunch of records.
Yeah, I get around to different events.
And then when we talk about the GLVC and how you've done there, the outdoor 100-meter dash, I believe you had second place finish last year. Yeah. You were outdoor all GLVC second team last year, and academic all GLVC too. Yeah. So why the pessimism about going to the Nationals?
Nationals is just almost another level, and I think Blake Alexander is one of my really, really close friends, and we've kind of talked about this, that to get to Nationals versus just getting to conference is just, it's really difficult. That sometimes you can have such a good meet, and then other times the weather's bad, you're not feeling good, even though you're trying to gain that momentum. And I just, my knees have been starting to hurt, and I'm almost starting to feel the 8 years of running I've now up to that. I think I've had a really good season, and I think, I'm ending on a very, very high note, and I'm really excited for where I am and where I've come. But the level of competition and the girls who are out there are just absolutely phenomenal. And I'm friends with a lot of them that actually make it to Nationals, and it's just the dedication and the time that they also put into it is just, they definitely deserve it also. Well,
let me amplify that by saying, I think I have this right, you broke the 100-meter record, set the school record, and yet finished fourth, right? Something like that? That amazed me.
Yeah, it's just, I think also, being Division II, how we're kind of new to that, we're even still learning what exactly that means and, the level of competition there. And it's just, phenomenal athletes all the way around.
Gretchen Mays is our guest. She's from Lathrop, Missouri, and in high school, 11 times an all-state track athlete. How do you be a high school track athlete, all-stater 11 times?
You have a really good coach, that's for sure. Yeah,
I think. What events?
100, 200, 4x1, and long jump, really my main ones.
And you did that over several years, right?
So that was, I think freshman year, you don't really think about how, the magnitude of going in 4 events to state is. And then, as I got older, it was like, wow, that was quite a feat. That took a lot of patience. That took a lot of time on, not only my part, but, my parents have been coming to every single track meet since I've been in high school. That, the time and dedication on their end, too, is just, I think, really helped me to excel.
Let me ask you about Blake Alexander, since you brought him up, and he's widely regarded as the best hurdler in Jewell history. Yeah. What makes him good?
I think he's just so dedicated. He will never, ever admit it. He will never, fess up to how dedicated and how much he really cares about hurdling in general. He actually didn't start hurdling until he was a sophomore in high school.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so, you see all these hurdlers now, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Blake hadn't even started by then. That, you're watching him do these things, and he's still learning. He still loves the sport, and I think that's really, he puts in the time. When he goes home on the weekends, he's putting in 2-3 hours of practice just on his own just to get better, and I think that really sets him apart from the rest.
Yeah. Well, he certainly has, we mentioned, probably the best in the school history. I guess we'll wait and see how it ends up for him in the next couple of weeks. But you are one of the all-time best people in Jewell history, and it's always been a pleasure to be around you.
Yeah.
I hope you have to travel a lot during that wedding weekend. And
I do hope so,
you do make the Nationals. That would be a great cap on your career.
It would be.
Gretchen Mays, thank you very much for being with us. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.